Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number. Oh boy, I think this is 8. It might be 8. Someone's gonna have to count and keep track for me. Or maybe I'll count later when I review this. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Tank Wars 2 Electric Boogaloo. I am your host, Chromoid, and here we have another second round. I think this is the quarterfinals of Tank Wars 2. We have our first, for the first time in Tank Wars, our second and only other buy, the entry from, I know what his name is. I know what his name is. Jargon, that's it. Jargon has come to us with the lovely Ping Brigade, another group of, I want to say those are APS tanks. Could be wrong. I want to say those are APS. I've been wrong before. These are beautiful little tanks. See the highlights on them, little headlights, the buffers, everything. It's just gorgeous. Excuse me, little lightning bolts down the sides. Lovely, lovely stuff. You got about 4 of these right here, or 6. No, 4 of these, and then you got one of these weird things. I don't, not weird. It's also pretty. It's just different. I'm not sure what the difference is. I think this is probably the Brigadier. There's 4 stakeholders, and then there's 3 uniquely named ones. There's a Paladin, a Brigadier, and a Grenadier. I'm not sure which is which. I know 2 of these are Land Cruisers. That'd be these 2 back here, and one of these is just a unique tank. I'm gonna guess this is a Brigadier based on the symbolism on the side. I could be wrong, but yeah. That is the Ping Brigade by Jargon. And over here facing off against them, we have, for the second time this tournament, NutterChap with Attack of the Clones. We've seen Attack of the Clones already face off against the Tick logo by Sean Reed, and he passed just just enough to say I wouldn't say handily, but he passed pretty well in that battle. These are casemate guns firing a mix of APS and cram and a whole lot of missiles. So we are going to get this underway. I'm going to switch positions so we have everyone on the right side, and we're going to get this started in 3, 2, 1. Ping Brigade in their first ever battle in Tank Wars 2 going to let off the first volley, followed with a reply by Attack of the Clones. It looks like most of them, as per FTD tradition, oh no, most of them do not miss, in fact. Holy moly. Um, I thought there was a tank in there at one point. It's just an explosion. Looks like oh, it's the explosion from the cannons on the guns here. I thought somebody got hit, and I was like, I've never seen something explode that violently. Well, I have. It crashed my computer, and will probably do so again when I have to cast that team again. But anyway, NutterChap's tanks are trying to reverse back over their own spawn stick. I think the spawn stick, although being made of slopes for them to roll over, is not allowing them back up as a NutterChap hoped it would. But they're keeping their guns forward and firing into the Ping Brigade, and oh no, one of the Ping Brigade has already been absolutely cored out. The turret popped, and that Paladin is gonna be dead. That was pretty vicious. All right, the rest of them, that was an entire Land Cruiser? No, that was the tank. That was one of the tanks. These are the Land Cruisers. The Land Cruisers have closed in. They're charging in, pinning down the NutterChap clones, and getting stuck on their own missile launchers. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not what you want to see. All the guided missiles taking a slam into the side of one of the NutterChap tanks. I don't know which ones are which. One's a kablam, one's a kaboom. Oh man, the when you have tanks in the way of firing from the depths, the AI doesn't understand what friendly fire means. It just unleashes hell without any kind of wherewithal or consideration for enemies or allies being in the way. So you get a lot of coincidental hits, a lot of friendly fire going on when that sort of situation is applied. Holy moly. That's a lot of missiles. Do they? I don't think they have launchers. I don't think. Oh, they do. Oh, they do. They definitely have thrusters. They just activate way too late, and they don't go into anything. I wonder where those are supposed to head. Just going off into the wild blue yonder, I guess. I can speak, I swear. NutterChap's tanks are backing up And this is a bit of a problem because if you, as I've said before, if you go to the top of this mountain range, you accrue penalty points at a rate of 10 points per second, and there's only 30 available for each tank. So if they go to the top, they pretty much instantly die. And they're doing so well. They've already DQ'd one of the tanks with sheer overwhelming firepower, but now they're kind of getting pushed back up the slope by a combination of their AI trying to distance themselves and Jargon's tanks pushing forward with no fear. Jargon's tanks seem to be designed to get in close and deliver firepower very quickly. NutterChap wants to stay at range and fire into the enemy with the crams and the APS and especially the missiles. And oh my goodness, these missiles, I don't know where they're supposed to go. Tanks skating up the side of the hills trying to get to their prey. They've cornered 3 of the NutterChap tanks. 3 of the clones are trapped on the slope. They can't back up. They can't get away. And this large land cruiser is just piling into them. They have no turrets. They can't turn to aim at whatever's shooting at them. And we just got a spread out battle now. We got 1 land cruiser duking it out with 1 clone. Unfortunately, the clone is able to shoot into this one. It's trying to get around the side, but it can't quite get there. Being helped out from a distance by one of the stakeholders, which is now being shot in the back by another tank. Got a stakeholder out here. I think it's gone a little farther than it planned to. It's trying to skid around and come back into the play. NutterChap tanks, the clones are everywhere. They are trying to circle around and encompass the fight. Main fight's happening over here in the far corner, and you just see the missiles streaking everywhere as pretty much the only way that the tanks have of reliably hitting each other right now in this confined space. I mean, without turrets, these couple up here are able to fire down into their opponents, but the ones that are kind of pinned up against them are pretty much combat ineffective right now, aside from the missiles. These hill tanks, they've done this before. They like to clamp the side of the hill and just sit there. They do a very good job of firing down into anything. It pretty much overwhelms or negates any penalty from that bumpy terrain out there that we've seen in other matches. Being up on the sides of the hills does make you more vulnerable, but also gives you a much wider range of fire and a much better visibility of the field. Now, if you get stuck, then, that's a problem in and all of itself. But, the penalty of being a mountain goat, I guess. Oh boy, one of these stakeholders are getting absolutely shredded right now by missiles. Missile after missile just piling into the side and rear armor. That's not good. I think that cannon is down. Yes, that turret is completely destroyed. It's just a forward casing now. Oh man, these tanks are doing so well, trying to keep at distance, trying to lay down fire. The clones, that is, they're trying to do a good job of keeping effective fire on the enemy, using their casemates to the full effect, and staying in range while not not getting too far away, or not getting too close. And yeah, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much NutterChap's to lose. He's got one of the land cruisers pinned. It's run up on the ground and gotten itself stuck. We've got we've got mountain goat tanks just skidding up the sides. I would think that these would get stuck pretty easily as well, but these seem to scale the mountains very easily compared to the some of the other tanks here. This one's getting dangerously close to the top though, so it's probably gonna have to stop there. Some people, knowing that there is a height DQ, have already programmed their AI to avoid going above a certain altitude, which I believe is like 340 or 380. Anyway, it's pretty tall. Like, if you go above that height, you're pretty much asking for it. But yeah, it's pretty significant. So those people have taken great pains. Oh no, that's a despawning tank. That's another stakeholder gone. Yeah, this is not good. Losing the turret is a huge chunk of the hit points for a lot of these vehicles. So when it's popped off or destroyed or blown up, it can often cause an automatic despawn just by virtue of half the tank now being missing. Oh man, the cannons on this grenadier or brigadier are just completely rendered useless. The gauges are gone, and so a lot of the extra punch is gone, and I don't even think they're working anymore. This one is trying to aim at the tank next to it, but it's so low that this tank, the land cruiser, can't even point down. So it's just going to keep taking shell after shell to the side. while stuck there, unable to move. That's a bit of a shame. You hate to see it, but it's part of the terrain, part of the battle. You don't build with enough clearance, you're gonna get stuck, and just missiles flying everywhere. This is a this is a pretty bad zone to be in. The dead missiles don't despawn for a little bit after their thrusters deactivate, so you just have random landmines going off everywhere. As another barrage of missiles comes in, it's going to be like this for the rest of the last 4 minutes and 50 seconds we've got. We've already got 3 DQs for the Ping Brigade, and the attack of the clones is just all doing well. 98 and above. Well, there's one at 90%, but it's not even. I mean, that's just one of 8. It's not enough. It's not nearly enough. Ping Brigade down to 55%. Attack of the Clones at 87%. That's a massive difference in health. And it's only increasing for Attack of the Clones. They're just gaining more and more. Well, I say they're gaining more. They're evening at 87%, but Ping Brigade is dropping and not changing at all. As more blocks just explode out from. Oh, the Land Cruiser finally gets something inside of this clone tank. It looks like it's finally getting its barrels down low enough that it's able to hit. So it's finally chewing through the armor. But even so, even at 85%, it's not doing enough. There's 4 minutes left. That's 1 Land Cruiser, and there's already 3 disqualifications for this team. Now, I'm not saying Ping Brigade is completely out yet. Their Grenadier is getting time to heal up. This Brigadier here is slowly healing up as well, I think. It's at 85%. I think they had repairs. Unfortunately, as you can see, the massive skirts on the outside are pinning this tank in place, the Brigadier, and it can't climb the hills as easily as the clones can. The clones just skitter up and down with very little effort and rarely get stuck. You've got this one, I think, is stuck, and the one over here by the Grenadier is stuck. Which is why it can't get away from the Grenadier, and the Grenadier can't get away from it. They're both just kind of pinned here. That Grenadier is going to sit there till the end of time, pretty much. After a while, these tanks can get stuck. I think these are fine, but it's part of the terrain. It's part of how it goes. We've got a couple more stakeholders out here that are still zipping around as well. They're trying to lay down some fire, but I mean, if you look at the battlefield, it's just missiles, missiles, missiles everywhere. And those shells from the kablams and the kabooms, they are still doing some really good damage. And you see they're hitting; they're not missing very often. They've got good precision, they've got good accuracy. They're making their shots count. That one over there, just almost, even from that range, it's almost hitting this stakeholder, and the stakeholder doesn't get away. It's got another NutterChap tank waiting for it on this end too. So it's just a matter of time at this point, unless they can pull off a really miraculous save, knock out a couple of clones very quickly. I'm pretty sure this is only going to go one way. I said it wasn't over, and I'm not saying it's over now, but I mean, it's pretty close. It's pretty close to being over. If one of these Land Cruisers go down now, I don't think there's any way of recovering for the Ping Brigade at all. I don't know if it has repair bots. If it has repair bots, it should be using them. It really should be using them right now because they have a ton of materials left. Not as much as the clones do, but they still have some materials. And as we've seen, one of the Land Cruisers has been able to do some decent damage at close range to one of the clones. But again, oh no, it's over now. The back of the turret has been cored out. Back of the turret's cored out, and this clone is not out for some reason. It has not lost its ability to fire. It's still launching shell after shell into its opponent. And they repair insanely fast, the clones, due to their tight structure and the fact that there's not a whole lot of them. The tank itself is not very big. They can heal very fast, at least from what I've seen. Trying to fire through the terrain to hit this one tank that's stuck on the side of the hill. Oh, it's only a matter of time. Minute and 40 seconds remaining. Still 3 DQs for Ping Brigade. No DQs for Attack of the Clones. All the lasers. All the lasers just looking to knock this one out of the park. Missile after missile streaks in here. That cannon over there does not seem to be doing quite well with aiming at this thing on an angle. What I mean, if you look at it, the turret's gone on this one. The turret's gone. Oh no, the turret just popped on this. Oh no, the turret just popped on this Brigadier. I don't know what hit it. I guess that cram finally got a hold of it, or a missile got in somewhere it shouldn't have. But yeah, the turrets are gone, the weapons are gone, and the strength for the Ping Brigade is completely gone. NutterChap's tanks once again wreaking havoc. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure how you pulled that off. This one, if you can see, this tank is at 24 points. Somehow got to the top of the mountain and came right back down before it exploded itself. So not even a single DQ for NutterChap's tanks, unless that one obliges by going back up again. I don't know why these tanks seem so suicidal, so determined to climb the mountains. Yeah, that one's exploding. That's going to be one tank gone for NutterChap, down to 75%, but it doesn't even matter. It has to lose at least another 2 tanks to be disqualified, and there's 30 seconds left, so unless a bunch of them want to go racing up the hill right now, I don't think there's enough time. This tank over here might get DQ'd by being just a little too far. Yeah, it's at 17 points. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I think even if that tank DQs, which is probably going to in time, all these tanks have been stuck. They've run out of ammunition. They've not run out of ammunition. They've just gotten stuck. They run up the sides and gotten stuck. But even with that tank over there despawning, and I don't think it will actually. I don't think it's going to despawn in time. No, it's not. Even with that, it's going to be a handy win for the Attack of the Clones by NutterChap, and Ping Brigade by Jargon will be going down to the losers bracket to do battle there. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for participating. I've been Chromoid, and I'll see you all next match.